think if you just focus on a very specific audience and find a way to be that audience's favorite podcast in the world, you'll do great. The biggest mistake people make is they target too large of an audience. And at that point, their podcast is one of several that are marginally relevant to the audience. You're much better off being hyper relevant to a small audience than partially relevant to a large audience, especially given how many podcast choices listeners have today. So I would much rather be the favorite podcast of 50,000 people than I kind of like it of 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you really have to understand the persona of the listener and then build the show accordingly for them, not for you. The show's not for me. The show's for the listeners of the show. If I was making a show for me, it'd be a different show, but I'm not the audience. I'm just the host. So people tend to get seduced by this idea that we need a bigger audience. And I will tell you, you actually need a smaller audience that's loyal. There's a lot of great social media podcasts out there that intentionally reach a broader audience because they're focused more on tactics or how-tos or things that sort of smaller companies care about. And we're talking about things like, Google was on the show recently talking about sort of global change management, right? That's a meaty, weighty, heady topic. And we do not, and we never will dumb the show down for audience. I just refuse to do it. I don't, it's not about that. We want to be the smartest show out there for those kind of people. And that puts a natural cap on the size of the audience. And that's okay. I'm perfectly happy with that. Just because of the magic of repurposing, if I was going to start a show today, I would probably start it as video, just because then you've got video. And we've done that a couple times. I think you remember, Amy, for a while there, we were recording the video from the show. But, a conversational podcast turned into a YouTube video is not a very compelling YouTube video. So unless you're trying to make it sort of video worthy, I'm not certain the point. But if I was starting from scratch, I would probably do that. Right, I would probably create a YouTube series that also becomes a podcast. In fact, I did that with my my show Talk Triggers that I did a couple of years ago. I did a 20 episode run that was really a YouTube show, but we stripped the audio out and turned it into a podcast because why not? So that's probably how I would do it today.